Beautiful people around the world, the Keep Climbing family. How about them 49ers? Woo! I told y'all this season we're going to be covering some amazing content. We're going to be having a lot of fun, man. Football season is here, baby. It's back and it's time to rock and roll. Oh, man. How about them 49ers, man? How do the 49ers keep getting away with this? Shout out to Football Logic for this video. And thank you, Bob, for sending this over. And again, we have so many videos that y'all are sending that we're going to be checking out. So hit that subscribe button if you are new here. I will leave the original link to this video in the description box down below. But without further ado, how about them 49ers? The best defense in the country, huh? Y'all let me know in the comments. Yay!
So they are doing it on both sides of the ball. We know that Kyle Shanahan and that run game is going to be on point. And then the defense took over. It starts with Fred Warner. It starts with Hufanga, and they just keep balling out, play after play, making plays, and they are, it feels like, 2 weeks in, the best team in the NFL.
You know, man, the San Francisco 49ers are once again showing us that they're one of the best teams in the NFL. They destroyed a Pittsburgh Steelers team that had a ton of talent and a ton of hype coming into this season, and they just beat a Rams team that had a healthy Matthew Stafford and a healthy Aaron Donald pretty handily.
Man.
The offense with Brock Purdy at the helm looks to be one of the best offenses in the league, and we of course know the defense is the best defense in the league. They started the game off on defense a bit slow against the Rams, but as the game went on, we saw them start to dominate the Rams on all three levels, and when you pair that with the fact that the offense looked great all day long, you quickly realize how scary this team actually is. So if I was an NFL team in this league, I'd be pretty concerned with what we're seeing the 49ers do. But before we go any further, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you like content just like this so you don't miss any 49ers videos throughout the entirety of the season. Okay, so getting back on topic with the San Francisco 49ers, we just saw them prove themselves again for the second week in a row against the Rams, and all of this starts with the unreal play that they're getting out of Brock Purdy. There were a ton of question marks surrounding Brock Purdy heading into his sophomore season, especially coming off his UCL injury, but man, he looks just as good, if not better, than he looked last year. He was not only throwing dots from the pocket all over the field, but we're also seeing him be able to make things happen outside of structure, which led to him putting up some great numbers for the second week in a row. He's done a great job at getting out of the pocket while keeping his eyes downfield to keep plays alive on plays that honestly should have never had a chance. This has led to the 49ers putting up 30 points for the second week in a row against two defenses that really aren't that bad. Part of the credit obviously has to go to Kyle Shanahan, who's one of the greatest play callers in the league, and some of the credit needs to go to the weapons that the 49ers have to work with. The 49ers have some of the best weapons in the league, and they looked great once again for the second week in a row against the Rams. Last week, it was the Brandon Ayuk show with the crazy game he had, and this week, it was the Deebo Samuel show. Deebo didn't only have almost 70 yards receiving, but he also had 5 carries for 38 yards and a touchdown, which just shows you how dynamic of a weapon he actually is. Kyle Shanahan was doing whatever he could to get the ball in Deebo Samuel's hands, and that showed to be a really good strategy. Deebo having a monster game against the Rams and Brandon Ayuk having a monster game last week should show you how talented this offense is across the board, because you can have different players take over different games depending on how the defense is playing. And then you add on to those two receivers the fact that you have CMC, who is arguably the best running back in the league. You have George Kittle, who is a top 3 tight end in the league. And you also have a solid third option at receiver in Jawan Jennings, who had a big-time catch in this game. Christian McCaffrey, for the second week in a row, had an absolute domination of a game with over 100 yards rushing while averaging over 5 yards a carry and having 3 receptions on top of that. We also got to see George Kittle have a few big-time catches as well, which helped the offense move down the field here and there, and I really do think he's going to start getting implemented more and more as the season goes on. But if we're being completely honest, we knew that the skilled guys would be pretty dominant, but what we didn't know is how the offensive line would look. But against the Rams and Aaron Donald, I really liked what I saw. Brock Purdy wasn't pressured much throughout the entirety of this game, only getting sacked once, which led to him having a lot of clean pockets, and we know Brock Purdy is great whenever he has time to throw and time to make a read.
Yeah.
And then the run blocking since week 1 has just been phenomenal. The 49ers O-line is opening huge running lanes, and we're seeing Christian McCaffrey take full advantage of that. Many people thought the 49ers offensive line was going to digress this year, but so far, it looks like they might have improved a little. So when I look at this offense from top to bottom and how they performed over these first 2 weeks, they're honestly looking like one of the best offenses in the entire NFL. They're averaging 30 points a game, and they played 2 fairly good defenses, so saying they're a top 3 offense is not a stretch at all. Brock Purdy is playing super efficiently in the passing game, and all of the weapons look to be the real deal, and then the rushing attack looks just as good with Christian McCaffrey going off in both of his first 2 games. And then to pair with this, on the other side of the ball, the defense is looking great as well. We saw them struggle a bit in the first half against the Rams, but after some halftime adjustments, they looked extremely dominant like always. In the second half of this game, the 49ers allowed just 6 points, with 3 of those points coming in garbage time with barely any time left. So in reality, they only allowed 3 points, which should show you how dominant they were in the second half, but there was a lot that went into that, and it started with the pass rush. The pass rush, just like the rest of the defense, started off a little slow, but as the game went on, we started to see them get back there on almost every drop back the Rams had. The 49ers were able to pressure Matthew Stafford on 27 of his 60 dropbacks, which is almost 50% of the time, which is pretty crazy. This ended up only leading to 1 sack, but we saw the pressure cause some other issues, like forcing Matthew Stafford to rush the ball out of his hands, which not only caused some wild throws, but also 2 big-time interceptions. The guys leading the pack in pressures were Nick Bosa and Javon Hargrave, who both had 5 pressures each, and then following behind them, Javon Kinlaw had 4 pressures, and after that, there were 8 different guys with at least 1 pressure, which should show you just how deep this defensive line really is. The starters, of course, are some of the best in the league, but what makes this defensive line different from other D-lines is the fact they can rotate guys in and keep up the same production. This allows the defensive line to always have fresh legs, and it should help keep the injuries down. The D-line isn't the only group we saw show up to play, though, because the Niners linebackers looked great as well. Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw were all over the field, with Fred Warner having 10 tackles and a sack, and Dre Greenlaw having 11 tackles and an almost interception towards the end of the game. They were not only great in coverage, but they were also all in the Rams' running lanes all day long, which led to the Rams' starting running back only having 52 yards rushing while averaging just 3.7 yards per carry. This forced the Rams to drop back and throw the ball 60 times, which is not the position you want to be in against this Niners pass rush and secondary. Speaking of the secondary, though, I want to talk about a few players that played really well and played a huge part in the 49ers being able to get the dub. First off, man, we got to talk about this guy, Isaiah Oliver, because he played out of his mind. Not only did he have an interception, which was huge, but he also had a big-time tackle that was for a loss, and he only allowed a 47.2 passer rating when he was targeted. He was great in coverage, like the stats show, and he also showed himself to be a pretty solid tackler. As far as the other guys in the secondary go, though, we saw Charvarius Ward play solid and get himself an interception to seal the game. We saw Tayshaun Gibson and Hufanga do a great job at the safety position, and we also saw Demondre Lenore play fairly good as well. So when you look at this secondary and you look at the defense overall and how they've played over these past 2 weeks, it's hard to argue that any team has been more dominant than them. They have a top 3 pass rush in football, they have the best linebacker duo in football, and they have a top 10 secondary, which is exactly what we've seen throughout these first 2 weeks. If they're able to keep this up, which I think they should be able to, there's not many teams in the NFL that are going to be able to score many points on them. Overall, though, man, when I look at this team, I see a team that, as long as they can stay healthy, has a real shot at their ultimate goal, which is a Super Bowl. I know it's just week 2, but you can't ask a team to start any better than the Niners have, because not only are they 2-0, but they have also looked extremely dominant while doing it. They have the New York Giants this upcoming Thursday, and they have the St. Louis Cardinals the next week after that, which should leave them 4-0 as they get ready to play the Dallas Cowboys. Woo! They've also been dominant in the games.
That's the game we waiting on, y'all. That Cowboys. And man, y'all know I love my Cowboys. So I'm gonna see y'all. I'm gonna see y'all during that Cowboy week now. I'm gonna just be quiet. I'm gonna shut my mouth. I know there's gonna be people fighting, gunshots, and there's gonna be people debating. There's gonna be people losing money, gambling. Somebody gonna lose their house, their car. Hey, pink slips gonna be pulled out. I mean, you name it. But look, I'm gonna just be quiet that week, and I'm gonna let everything play out, and I'm gonna catch y'all doing the reaction of the highlights, and we're gonna break everything down. But hey, you know what I'm saying? But like I say, in the NFL, you can lose one game, and you know you can still get a different outcome than what you want. So it ain't gonna hurt too bad if one of my teams lose, you know. But hey,
they played against the Cowboys the past 2 years, so hopefully that will leave them 5-0 with a great start to the season. But I want to know what you guys think about the 49ers, so let me know in the comments below. And with that being...
But them 49ers looking tough. I mean, them Cowboys looking tough, but them 49ers looking really good, off to a good start. But them Cowboys, man, y'all might want to pray for that man Purdy, man. I don't know if that Cowboys defensive line. I can't wait to see, man, how this team plays out. But y'all comment down below about the 49ers, about your favorite team. What are you liking about this season so far? Please feel free to share you guys' opinions and voice in the comments down below. I love y'all, and shout out to Football Logic for the amazing video, and I will leave it linked in the description box down below, and I will catch y'all in the next one, man. Peace and love, y'all.